and welcome to the result announcement for Q2 FY21. Can we take to the next slide, please? This is the usual safe harbor statement. So move to next slide, and I begin my presentation first by giving cyber attack update that it was a ransomware attack, and we isolated all impacted IT service. We probably engaged the leading outside cyber security experts, and a very comprehensive containment and remediation effort has gone on. Still, investigations are ongoing. And so far, we didn't find any evidence of any kind of a data breach, which can either pertain to personally identifiable informations or otherwise. And the recovery and restoration of our preparations and data is underway. All critical operations are being enabled, but we are doing it in a very, very controlled and cautious manner. The COVID-19 update, we continued all business operations. That is in line with our primary purpose of ensuring our patients are served across all markets. All the precautionary measures such as social distancing norms, sanitization of premise, uses of protective wears are followed to basically safeguard the health and safety of our employees as well as our business partners. In terms of the market demand, we have seen gradual recovery across India, Russia, and other countries. And we have launched some COVID-19 treatment drugs, such as Avigan, which is Favipiravir, as well as the Remdesivir. And we also strengthened our development pipeline. And you are aware that we are going to shortly commence the trial of the vaccine candidate Sputnik 5. Can I get to the next slide, please? So this is about the financial highlights. This is highest ever quarterly sales in a single quarter at 4,897 crores. And this on a reported basis reflects a 2% growth. But if you remember last year, same quarter, we had an out licensing income out of our proprietary products, which was 723 crore. So if you adjust for that, our sales growth is quite good at 20%. But sequentially, which is more like-to-like comparison, our revenue has grown by 11%. What we are showing here in EBITDA, PBT, and PAT is all on reported growth. We are not showing any adjusted one because adjusted one will show quite one impressive one. But nevertheless, even on reported growth in EBITDA, there has been a sequential growth of 9%. But of course, there is a decline of 12%. That is again primarily of the last year's out licensing income. The PBT is at 862 crores, which reflects an year-on-year growth of 12%, but there is a sequential decline of 2%. And PAT, compared to last year, there is a decline, but sequentially, again, we have grown by 32%. Next slide, please. So if we look at our gross margin, again, last year it was quite high due to the out licensing income. Actually, if we adjust for that, there would have been an improvement in our gross margin. Nevertheless, sequentially, there is a marginal drop of 210 basis points, and that is because of adverse forex compared to the previous quarter, the currency rate particularly against dollar. Then the export incentives which were available hitherto, and earlier it was expected to be over by December end, which was advanced by government, and from September it is no longer available. So that has an impact on gross margin, and that will continue to have the impact from here onwards. The SG&A expense on an absolute term has gone up, and even the last quarter, although year on year there is a marginal drop, but as a percentage of sales, SG&A is now at 26.8%, which reflects the continuous efforts on the SG&A productivity improvement that the organization has undertaken for quite some time now. Again, in R&D, as I alluded to all of time, that on absolute basis, R&D overall expense is going up from compared to the last quarter. It has again gone up by 38 crores, but as a percentage of sales, it is marginally dropped because of higher level of sales. Next slide, please. So if I get to, geography was descriptions of what has happened in North America, the new launch momentum continues. We have got quite a healthy number of launches in the first half itself, and there are a good number of launches which are also lined up for the second half. Some of it already happened in last few days in October. So whatever we have alluded earlier in terms of number of launches, we are going to surpass that. So year on year, North America, we have grown by 28%, sequentially 6%, and the primary attributable reason is the new product launch, as well as some increase in the volumes. Of course, these are partially offset by some price erosion. And some of the notable launches are like ciprofloxacin, dexamethasone, OTC nicotine lozenges, etc. In terms of filing, we have filed only 2 ANDAs in this quarter. Most of our filings for the year are skewed for the second half of the year. So with this, now we have 94, including the 2 NDAs. Total number of ANDAs are pending for approval. And out of that, there are 50 para 4 filings, and we believe that we may have first to file status in 26 out of 50. Next slide, please. Now coming to India, the growth is very healthy at 21% year on year. Obviously, it has been contributed by the sales from the Wockhardt acquired portfolio, and I must say the acquisition from Wockhardt is going as per our expectation. The integration has gone quite well so far, despite all COVID challenge, and most of the things are being done virtually and digitally. But in terms of India, sequential growth, it is quite high at 46%. And look at vis-a-vis market, then in terms of the IQVIA ranking, we are at 12th position now. So this is an improvement by 2 positions after the integration of portfolio acquired from Wockhardt. Next slide, please. This is about emerging market. Actually, there has been good sequential growth both in Russia and CISR. Year on year, Russia, there is a marginal decline, and that is mainly due to weakening of ruble. Last year, ruble to rupee, 1 ruble would have faced as 1.1 rupee, and this year would have been around 1. But constant currency growth, even in Russia, year on year, there is a 4% growth. But sequentially, it is much higher. In rest of the world, year on year, there is a growth. Sequentially, there is a decline in some markets like Vietnam, Jamaica, etc. Next slide, please. Coming to Europe, the growth story, the momentum in Europe is continuing. And even in this quarter, there is a 36% year-on-year growth. Even sequentially, we have grown by 6%. So apart from the 5 markets, Germany, UK, France, Spain, and Italy, we have in this quarter forayed in Austria with azacitidine launch. And so Europe is looking quite good for us. Next slide, please. Coming to PSAI, there has been a year-on-year growth of 20%, but sequential there is a 1% decline. And this growth has been largely driven by growth in services business, sales from new products, as well as favorable forex movement. Now here we have filed 1 US DMF, but 39 global DMFs during this quarter. Next slide. So in terms of R&D, I already said that we have spent 436 crores in this quarter. With this, in the first half, we have spent 834, and as a percentage of sales, it is 9%. On an absolute term, we'll be spending higher than the previous year. In capex, again, we have already spent 400 crores in the first half compared to 485 for the whole year here. And this is in line with what I alluded earlier of spending more than 1,000 crore of capex during FY21. Free cash flow has been quite good at, for the first half being at 1579. And so gradually from FY18, we have been improving on our free cash flow. And despite the Vocard acquisition, our net debt equity position stands quite healthy at 0.01. So this is actually reflecting a very strong balance sheet for Dr. Reddy's. Next. So the key priorities, some of them remains as we have earlier indicated to all of you that in terms of the building healthy pipeline of products or achieving market leading growth across businesses. Now these and continue with productivity improvements, driving innovation and digitalization to fuel future growth and execution of all the strategic initiatives and moves. But what also we have now added in our priorities is all about COVID-19. And first is ensuring uninterrupted operations during COVID-19 times. And second is on the development and launch of COVID-19 treatment drugs. So with this, I end my presentation and open it for Q&A. So you may please ask your questions.
Thank you, Soumen, for the insights. Before we begin the question and answer, a quick note. I'll follow a sequence and announce your names by one by one so that it is seamless. And you may turn on your video and speak. And in case if you have additional questions, please you raise your hands in the participants view section. I will announce your name again. So our first question for today is from Economic Times, Mr. Sukumar.
Yeah,
Sukumar,
hi,
please
Mr.
go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Soumen. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So there are a couple of questions from my side, Mr. Soumen. So how do you explain this 360 basis points of fall in gross profit and the reasons for fall in R&D spend? These are the two things. And reasons for rise in the revenue costs, which have gone up by 11%.
So first, you have been talking about year-on-year decline. As I told you last year, from the out-licensing income, which was significant. So that would have led to a very high gross margin. So, and even in the last quarter, due to favorable forex impacts, and the gross margin was higher than our normal range. So what we have delivered this quarter is quite healthy at 53.9, which is quite healthy gross margin if you track gross margin over several quarters in Dr. Reddy's. This is something which we feel quite good about. In terms of R&D, as I told you, we are increasing on an absolute terms. But if our sales goes up, which is quite good for the organization, then as a percentage of sales, definitely there is a marginal decline of, from 9 it has become 8.9. But you must appreciate that we are spending, considerable amount in R&D, and we will continue to spend in R&D. R&D is a primary lever for growth of Dr. Reddy's that provides a long-term growth, and we are never letting it, suffer. There have been improvement in R&D productivity that helped us to come down the percentage from say 10% to 9%, but we are going to continue our focus on R&D. The last is in terms of you asked, revenue growth. Now, revenue growth has happened because we have done well in almost all. North America has been very impressive, so is India. So we have grown in our revenue, so that's why it is reflected.
Okay, a couple of other questions. Did you pay any ransom amount for that cyber attacks? And you had shut down the operations for a period. What was the loss on account of shutdowns? Did you commence the operations immediately, or how much time did it take?
I already gave the update in the cyber attack that we have been restoring, from the backups. So we took all, the right kind of steps in terms of isolation, further prevention, stepping up security, restoring with a very, very, cautious and controlled approach. And of course, we have been taking help of international experts. So that is the way to go about in terms of cyber attack, and we have been following that. Sorry, what was your second question?
The question was about the temporary shutdown of operations immediately after the cyber attacks.
No, of course, the moment there is a cyber attack, there has to be some containment. There has to be some preventive measures. So we had to take, but we didn't have much of an impact in our operations due to this attack. Can we go to the next person,
Thank you, Sukumar.
please?
Our next question is from Sohini from Business Standard. Sohini, please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. So I wanted to understand about your vaccine trials. You have not indicated how much would be the cost of the trials, because you're also sharing that with RDIF. And what is the update on recruitments, because you've just got the approval, I believe.
Thank you. So what I said on the first part is that indeed we are sharing the cost on the clinical trials in India as part of this arrangement. We are not disclosing specific amount, but what I can say that it will not have a major impact on our results as a company, and we have a way to finance it within our growth. So there is not going to be any negative impact, and we'll be able to take it easily. The second part that is related to Remdesivir, I'm very pleased with our performance on Remdesivir. Unfortunately, there is a demand for it nowadays because of COVID, and we are at the stage of need to even increase the capacity of it, which we are doing now.
And since there are yet no Indian partners for making the vaccine here, so what are your discussions with RDIF? Because they have promised you 100 million doses, but that is a very low amount. So if you could update us on that. And by
this
when
is
you plan to start supplying you with the vaccine.
The product will be produced in India with a partner. and I believe that by the time that we will have hopefully positive results of the clinical trials, which of course it's yet to be seen, but in the case that it will be a positive result, we will be able to start to market it from a producer in India.
Okay. And what percentage of your revenues, you also mentioned it's the highest ever in a quarter, has actually come from the COVID-19 specific products like Remdesivir and others?
Small portion, very small portion.
Yeah, that would be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sohini. Our next question is from Vishwanath from Money Control. Vishwanath, please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah. So this is Vishwanath Pilla from Money Control. In continuation to Mr. Sukumar's question, you mentioned that this is a ransomware attack. So is there anything, as the attackers have specifically demanded any amount or, anything like that, or have you engaged the Indian law enforcement agencies, given that this is a very kind of a, it's a very unique kind of attack that has happened. So these two, sir. And the third is like, in terms of Remdesivir, what is the capacity, sir, that you are adding into the market, and how are you seeing this export potential now?
Now, I already talked about the steps that we have taken, and that is through the restoration of all our services from our own backups. Second, ours is a global organization, so we are still investigating in terms of where it has originated from. So once the investigation gets over, then obviously, whatever is required, we will do the needful, but we are keeping the concerned authorities informed. In terms of Remdesivir, I would ask Ires to take that question.
Yeah, so on Remdesivir, we are not again discussing specific quantities, but we are expanding in a way that will allow us to both supply enough for India as well as to export to some emerging markets, and that's what we are planning to do.
Thank you, sir.
Our next question is from Anju. Anju, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. My question is to Mr. Israeli. You've been upbeat on China, but could you kind of share some insights on how the first half or the last quarter has been in terms of business uptick, your plans for enhanced registrations, or has COVID slowed things down? That's my first question. The second question is, so broadly, what are your views on the scenario for regulatory inspections by the FDA? Are we looking at a remote or come virtual approach, or is it a hybrid kind of scenario you're envisaging? And do you see product approvals being held back or delayed because of the scenario we are in? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the questions. On China, the Q2 as well as H1 in general was excellent. We are on track with our strategy, including registrations, and I did not see any slowdown because of COVID or any other reason. As for the FDA, to the best of my knowledge, they are not planning to do remote audits, and this is to the best of my knowledge. Other agencies are doing remote audits, and we are actually engaging them in these coming weeks. As for product approvals, we do not see any delays or any issues that are related to product approval. And we just recently launched, and Somen presented well how many products we have launched. All of them got approval recently without any issues. So I think the fact that we removed the warning letter prior to COVID, of course, is helping us, and the records of our inspections helping us a lot in that respect.
Okay, thank you. Just one clarification. Since the post-registration studies for your vaccine Sputnik is underway and 40,000 volunteers are already involved, should the results be good, do you anticipate emergency use authorization in India ahead of completion of phase 3 trials in India?
This will be a decision for the authorities. I cannot anticipate the reactions. We hope that we can bring the product as soon as possible, because we understand the responsibility of company like